How's it going, people? Welcome back to AFTV. We're here for the warm-up for the Chelsea game. A bit different today. We've got a couple of lads from the Chelsea Fan TV channel, Craigo and Lewis. You've seen them on the channel before. Thanks for coming down, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, great to be on.
We needed to talk about something, and there's very little to talk about with our club at the moment. So yeah,
I can't believe you're putting me through this ordeal, man. This is
me.
Yeah, you're putting me through
You
this.
dragged me upstairs, bro.
No, you could have had Cecil. I've got to talk to Chelsea fans about the finals they're in.
Cecil got this one, innit?
Yeah, you got lucky, man, because this is going to be torturous. But,
Talk to us though, guys, man. You lot still have something to play for. Obviously, let go of Lampard midway through the season. A big name connected to the club. You're not looking backwards anymore, are you?
No, but I just don't want to say too much because I know what happened last time, innit?
Big up Scarfuggery as well. You might get some more content today. You might get some more content today.
I'll be real, we got every reason to be confident, but same way it's a 90-minute game. And we both know exactly that you guys can love turning up against us. We've seen it in recent games. You lot, regardless of your form, could go 3 in a row against us, which is baffling to say.
Yeah,
and even though I still don't necessarily think it will happen, I've got every reason to think Chelsea can win. You lot don't really have anything else to play for at this point, and that kind of gives you lot a fresh mindset as well.
Yeah.
I saw you lot. You didn't start off amazing against West Brom, but you grew into it, and I feel like it's a performance that can give you a bit of confidence going into the Chelsea game as well. And I think as well, because with us, we've got the FA Cup final coming up on Saturday. You've got players who want to keep themselves fit for the Champions League final. I'm low-key wondering if we're going to go in with the same intensity that we've seen from Chelsea in recent games, but it's a London derby. These are the games I look forward to anyways.
And we tend to play better when the pressure's off.
Yeah, massively.
Over the years, that's shown.
Willian banging in free kicks against West Brom.
Imagine.
Finally scoring.
Yeah, thanks
I've been
for it, by the
saying
way.
for months, I've been thinking this guy's just waiting to play ours and he's going to bang a free kick or some BS. And
He got out of the game before,
Yeah, but
he
now
did.
the guy's going to be confident because he ain't looked confident the whole season. Now he's banged in a free kick, he's smiling. I'm just thinking, here we go. It's purple patch Willian again.
He put in a good corner and all. I mean, when was the last time we saw Willian put in a good corner?
And it hasn't stopped him from commenting on Chelsea's Instagram either, has it?
Oh, I hadn't seen that. Oh, no, I hadn't seen that.
No, what?
The morning after we went out of the Europa League.
I think in fairness...
Willian is not serious, man.
Is he considered a Chelsea legend in all seriousness? I mean, the titles he's won, or a Chelsea icon, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd probably say he's like a cult hero. I don't think he's a legend.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Chelsea fans only love him because he shunned Tottenham to come join us. I think if it weren't for that, like the other half of the fan base would be done with him the same way with the first half.
Yeah, I think he's a hero before he even stepped in the building. The second he pissed off Tottenham, it was like, yeah, all right, we'll have him.
Honestly, he's not even the reason for our problems. You know, we've been having problems all season. He's just been a part of it. But
what are your problems? Because there seems to be a few of them.
How long you got, mate?
How
long you got?
I got all the time in the world.
It's going to end up being a counselling
I don't know
session
the
for
camera's
us.
got
couldn't
enough
it?
battery. I can't lie to you, man.
What are our problems? I mean, the obvious place to look is the manager. We were a point behind you guys, but I think it's fair to say that back at Christmas, neither team were having the season they were expecting or hoping for. You guys did something about it, and we didn't. I, at the time, even really till the Europa League game, was quite happy to give it time and see what happens. We're going to chat a little bit later about the kind of sacking policy you guys have. But you've reaped the rewards and benefits from it. You've got in a manager who's got a proven record. We decided to stick with the rookie. That's not his fault, he's a rookie. It's just who he is. And I think maybe we progressed for a couple months, Jan to March, but we've regressed since. And by the way, this is very minor progress. We're not talking big things here. And then you look at the players and obviously the big Cronky out movement since the Super League. So it's just been a complete mess of a season.
I want to ask you guys, because you said obvious Arteta, because that is the obvious one, the manager every week, every club, it tends to go to the manager, the pressure. Outside looking in at Arsenal, from your perspective, bias aside, Lewis especially, put some of that bias aside and give your honest perception of what you think's gone wrong at Arsenal. Who is to blame? Is it the managers? Is it the players? Or
I'm going to be real, it is definitely not just Arteta. But the thing with me for months is I was saying, like, your club is a mess from top to bottom. And I don't even mean that as a disrespect. I think that's just fact at this point.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't get how you guys thought that a manager with less experience than Frank Lampard was going to be the guy to fix everything. And maybe if you guys thought he was going to take you further than Emery did and then you move on to a new manager, like, I can understand that. But the way I've seen Arsenal fans going about it was like Arteta was your saviour at the start. And I was thinking, like, I get it. back the guy same way we back Frank Lampard, but you can't really think that he's going to be the guy to fix your entire club. Like, your club's been a mess for years, and it's gradually got worse and worse and worse. And he's got no experience of how to even manage a normal club, let alone a club like Arsenal. But it's not just Arteta's fault too. You got players as well. You got a lot of deadwood in that side. I thought giving Aubameyang a 390k a week contract was suicidal, and you can see the lack of motivation that he's had this season. Granted, he has had other outside issues as well, which we'll take into account, of course. But I thought giving him that big of a contract, it was a bit desperate from you guys' point of view as well. And
not the first time either.
Understand it, but that's the thing. Like, you did the exact same thing with Mesut Ozil. You got the exact same lack of motivation from him, and then you guys went and did the exact same thing to Aubameyang. I was like, really? Cause I take the mick and say you guys never ever learn, but it really looked like you guys just never learned.
Yeah,
there was Willian, which, I mean, to be honest, 100k a week, it was still cheaper than our wage. It wasn't really that bad, but it's just bringing in Willian in general.
Well, you're after Luiz.
Yeah. No, Luiz, to be honest, has been all right for you guys.
I actually think he's been one of our better of those kind of signings. But, I mean, again, what does that say? His first season, he broke all the wrong records. And yet here I am saying he's been one of the better of the signings. But that says a lot.
It's been better for him outside of the pitch. He's been a better leader towards the other defenders. But I think, same way, the problem with you guys is, I think the players you just brought in have not been good enough for years and years and years, and now you've got a squad full of players that just aren't really at the standard of a top 4 club, and you guys want to be at that level. And then you got the board who don't care, you got the owner who's just been focused on building the new stadium for the LA Rams. Everything's a mess for you guys from top to bottom, but same way as the manager's meant to steer the ship, and you have a very inexperienced manager steering the ship, and I think it was just destined to fail.
The problem is the ship's got a hole in it, mate. That's the problem. He's got a big hole in it.
It's plural there. Add an S at the end of that.
I like Arteta. I think he's going to be one of those ones for the future. I don't think it's possible to do what he wants to do right now. I don't think it's possible for Arsenal to turn it all around with him in charge. Nothing to do with him. Again, he's got some good tactic. He's a nice, friendly guy. You could see him again. He's played at a decent level and obviously worked with Guardiola. You know, he's got something to offer, something to give. I just don't think with the current crop of players you've got, he's going to be on to get you out of the problem. And it's a very similar thing that happened with Tottenham. It's similar to what happened with Chelsea and Lampard and whatever, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute. As much as you do want to go, oh, it's all Arteta's fault, it's all Lampard's fault, it's all Jose's fault, it's the players, the ones that are playing the game as well. And if they're not executing what Arteta wants, from whatever reason, I mean, Arteta can't be the one that goes, oh yeah, well he was crap, because he'd lose his job in a heartbeat.
I'm so glad you guys have said that, because I've always thought, am I deluded? So when people talk about, everyone wants Arteta out, because obviously even with this group he's not achieving what he should, and we all agree with that. But I'm always thinking, okay, we get him out, but I don't think that fixes everything.
Yeah, players get away with it.
Do I think he deserves the sack for what he's put up this season? If I'm honest, yeah, that's the cutthroat industry we're in. But I don't think, the minute he's gone, brilliant, we're a top 4 club again. Watch Rodgers come in or whoever, and we're going to sail to top 4. I think that the problems are bigger than that. And it's been hard to explain why I see something in Arteta, which sounds crazy, because people are like, well, how? But I've seen other sort of rival fans on social media. I know Goldbridge has said it. There's been a lot of, other YouTubers who have said, I don't actually think Arteta's even a bad manager. I just think the club is rotten to the core. And that's why I'm sort of like, I'm not on this like massive energy towards getting Arteta out.
I'd rather Lampard, isn't it?
You're right, yeah.
He's not a bad manager, it's just the job's too big for him. He has way too much to do that someone for his experience can even do for the club.
Yeah.
And the difference is just we sacked him months earlier. But I think with you guys the same. Like, I've always said it, and I hope it never happens, but I thought Maurizio Sarri is a great fit for you guys. He's good at taking mid-table clubs, no offence, and making them a bit higher.
I know all this, but it hurts to hear it.
I agree with you. Not to take the mick.
No, I don't disagree with any of it, but
he gets like average players, and he gets more out of them. Within a season, they're fully understanding his style of play, and it's a possession-based system, which is very similar to Arsene Wenger's, which means it's more similar to the old Arsenal that you guys would like as well.
I hear that.
And the best thing for the board, he don't care about transfers. He just says, give me a squad of players, I'll do what I can with them and get the best out of them. I hope it never happens, but Maurizio Sarri to Arsenal, he'd be a great fit for you guys.
I think that might be the one thing at the moment. There's a bit of uncertainty around Arteta's future. It's been widely reported that he is going to stay. I don't know where you stand on it, but
You don't know where I stand then?
Well, no. Well, I know that you're ready for him to move on, but what I mean is the Kroenke stance, because you know, we know they don't like spending money. So everyone's saying, well, they're not going to sack him because they don't want to spend the money. But then actually keeping him means you've got to invest more in the squad. So the cheaper option might be try get a Sarri and see what you can do with this group. So it's going to be quite interesting.
Listen, Lewis made a point earlier about, you know, Arsenal fans maybe either being deluded or very optimistic with Arteta and believing he can, you know, turn Arsenal around. But that's what part of being a football fan is meant to be about.
I agree.
And at Chelsea, it's different because you have an owner that, regardless of your feelings, you know he will do what he thinks he needs to do to get the best out of the club. So you lot can get lost in the sauce of Lampard. Whereas if we get lost in the sauce of Arteta, it's playing into the owner's hands because he wants us to get lost in that sauce.
Such a good point,
that makes sense.
That's very good. Yeah,
That's why we're saying that the club is that much of a mess from top to bottom. You can't even like physically back Arteta like that because the board's going to be like, yep, they're happy with him, we ain't got to do anything. And then you guys just don't progress.
It's all an illusion, basically.
To a degree. I mean, I want to bring something up. So obviously we met in Baku. That was a pretty dark day for us. Yeah, you guys enjoyed it. that was a pretty damning day for Arsenal. You know, our first season without Wenger, we thought this was our sort of one-way ticket back to the Champions League, especially with Unai Emery. Since then, it just kind of shows you sacked 2 managers, we've sacked 1. Obviously, Sarri. Well, actually, as you pointed out, he didn't leave. He actually wasn't sacked. He left. I wasn't sure whether he was going to survive that summer anyway, to be honest. But he left, and then obviously Lampard didn't make it through either. We lost Unai Emery since then. Brought in Arteta. I've basically culminated the points from the start of the 19 season to where we are now in 2021. We'd be 7th in the table. You're 4th, so you're in the top 4 places. You've managed 130 points since then. We've managed 108. You spent about £100 million more than us. The one trophy is the FA Cup. Yay, we beat you in the final. Obviously, that was a great day for us. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Of course it does. But you're on course to basically potentially win 2 more trophies now. It's just staggering to me that we're the team that lost 4-1 in that final. Yeah. We're the team that's been out of Europe. We're the team who is talking about this new project and basically starting a franchise after Wenger. We should have been prepped for this. And you look at those numbers and some of those stats, and I just think we're falling. Like, for me, it's that shows ambition there.
Yeah,
that shows the difference in ambition.
It's ruthless, but it's ambition.
Absolutely, and I think this graphic shows you a lot as well. This basically is the last 10 years. I've only put permanent managers in here, so I think Tom Holland did. Isn't it? It's not Tom Holland. That's Spider-Man.
You've done a Cecil.
What's his name? I've done a Cecil. What's his name? Holland? The first. Steve Holland.
That's it. Yeah.
Tom, big up Tom Holland, love Tom Holland. So I didn't put him in because he managed 1 game. But your last 10 managers, I put how many years and months they've been involved, but also their win percentage. I mean, I don't know, I should have looked up Arteta's win percentage, but I don't think it's as good as half the managers you've sacked. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel, a good high 68% there. Lampard, even 52%. But even when he lost his job, there was a feeling that he could still turn it around. There's plenty of time to turn it around. Sarri, again, he's only in the job 11 months. Conte, 2 years. Mourinho, okay, he had 1 bad year, but for the first 2 years was doing pretty well. It's what do you guys honestly feel about this kind of approach for your club?
Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Can I be real? Like, I'm happy with the idea because, like you said, we're ruthless. If the manager isn't performing well for a period of time, he's getting sacked. But I also think this idea that Chelsea have been ruthless or as ruthless as we were before we won the Champions League, it's a bit of a farce for me. I think we've really tried to be a sustainable club since we won the Champions League, and we tried to give a manager long-term chances at Chelsea to succeed. But for each manager, there's an individual reason for why it didn't work out. Mourinho, we're a point off relegation when he got sacked. Benitez never got along with the fans. Di Matteo, like Lampard, he was way too inexperienced for the job. Gus Hiddink was a temporary manager just for the end of the season. Conte was just an awful 2017 window and he just completely fell out with the board. Maurizio Sarri felt homesick, and to be honest, the fans never really took it.
So is there anyone you regret? Because I was going to ask you about Conte and Sarri in particular.
Conte and Sarri.
I really regret Conte. I loved him. I thought it was brilliant. I think the board, I mean, we went through a little bit of a transition. It's kind of when Marina came in and whatever. It was kind of that start of that period. So I wasn't too sure what the kind of goal was for that window. And we signed players like Ross Barkley, drink water,
that window's
Bakayoko. We had a bad window,
horrendous,
you know,
man.
even like Emerson and
40
Giroud
on
with
drink water and 58 million on
mad.
Morata, 35
that's
million on
mad.
Bakayoko,
Yeah.
23 million on Zappa Costa. I'm not surprised Conte hated them.
What year was that?
That was 17-18.
Yeah, 17,
So in 17-18, they named all them names who came in and didn't do well. Are they at Chelsea now?
No, they're gone.
No.
No,
They're all
most of
on
them are still
loan.
here.
They're all
Yeah,
on
but in
loan.
2016, we bought players that
and
in
they're
reality
still
have
there,
let
yeah.
us down, and
No,
they're
but we still
in-
can't get rid of them because we got them on like 70k a week, 100k a week. I don't know what
Bakayoko,
we were doing.
Bakayoko,
Drink was on
Bakayoko,
100 grand
At
a
least
week.
with Morata, you managed to move on.
I don't know how
think
we
we
got
made
profit.
profit.
We made
Yeah,
profit. I don't know how we did
Unbelievable how
that.
you made profit off that. The thing
Marino.
about this, would you want this kind of approach for Arsenal? Because, go on, actually, I'll let you answer before I make a point.
If you've got an owner like Roman, I don't care what approach he takes because I believe in him. But
Yes, I hear that.
in an ideal world, if you've got an owner that's going to be more reliant on a philosophy and slow build, then I'd want a bit more security in the philosophy and a man like a Pep or a Klopp. But
Yeah.
you don't get Peps and Klopps often.
That's the thing.
You know, so it's
You
all
won
a
4
risk.
Premier League titles, right? And
5.
Oh, 5. God, that's depressing. Ancelotti, of course. 5 Premier League titles. You're looking at the last sort of 10, 20 years. You've been the most successful club in the country. You know, how can I be sitting here and saying I don't want this kind of model? Ruthless. If you're not hitting those levels, you're out. And the same with the players, really. But I think maybe I'm being overly harsh here. In between all these kind of great moments, there's been that season you finished 10th. That season Mourinho had to get sacked because you were 18th or 17th, 16th or whatever. I look at Klopp and Liverpool, and for 3 years, hitting, what was it, like 99 points, then 97 winning the league, a Champions League final, a year later winning the Premier League as well. Sorry, Champions League final, winning the Champions League, then the Premier League. I want Arsenal to build something that for 3-4 years will hold its own and not just is great for a year. Because I'll be honest, despite all this, I'm not convinced that Tuchel won't be facing the sack in 12 months because that's kind of how the cycle goes.
Can you guarantee that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think
You
it will
can't.
happen, but I understand why
way-
You get what I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to say,
yeah.
though. Like, this isn't to like diss the Chelsea model because, listen,
Listen, if
I
Chelsea are
dream of
10th in
this success.
December, then I'd understand why they sacked Tuchel. Like,
Exactly. It's just it's really interesting. It's almost like if you get the kind of the long-term philosophy spot on, then the rewards you can reap are massive, better than anything Chelsea have achieved. But what you win things, you're winners, and it's hard. And now here we are going into this game. We should probably bring it back to this game.
Yeah. So Lewis started on the game, and I thought to myself, "Shit, the game already. How am I going to avoid this for about?"
I know. But it's, we're going into this game where it doesn't matter. How could we be saying that a London derby or Chelsea doesn't matter really in the context of our season? And I don't know what I want the club to do going into this summer. So, yeah, as you said, we're in a bit of a mess.
It's always nice to be an obstacle in the way. Obviously, Chelsea are still trying to secure top 4. But even if we go out and beat you, and you didn't make top 4, does that do anything for Arsenal? It doesn't do nothing. So you are right. It doesn't really mean anything in the big scheme of things. There's
At
no
most
chance
we
to be
could
had.
maybe catch Spurs, but that's at the cost of maybe falling into the Europa Conference League. No one wants
That's
that.
up to you, lot, if you even want that.
Well, so,
please.
we were talking about it. I mean, I don't think we do want it.
Don't say think. You take the word think out of it.
Yeah, well.
Don't want it. That's it.
Well, I'm trying to play balance, but yeah, I don't think we.
You could play our B team, Vitesse.
They might even be
Oh,
too
mate.
good for it, mate.
I think they are too good for it, surely.
Armando Broja and that. Can't
So
wait.
who's your danger man moving into tomorrow? Is there going to be a lot of changes considering a cup final around the corner?
I don't know. I really don't
Literally,
know.
with Tuchel's lineups, I ain't got. There's so many times I've sat there and it's like, what lineup is this? And then we go and get a win. It's like, yeah, cool. This is why I just do videos, and you're the manager. I really just leave it to him at this point. But the only thing I can be sure of is, I know Christensen's going to be out because he's come off injured in the Man City game. I think Mason Mount will come into the lineup because he was left at home, and so will Thiago Silva because he was left at home as well. Other than that, Edouard Mendy will start as well. I don't see Kepa starting this game. Other than that, I'm really not sure. The front three just usually, it depends on whatever Tuchel thinks would suit the game more. The only thing I can be sure of is that Mount starts our big games, and because he didn't start the last one, he'll start
And you
this.
called him as danger man, didn't it, Mount?
Mount's the one. I love Mount. I really do. What a player. The fact
Good
that
after to buy him from the word go. He's a quality player. He
Yeah.
gives us everything every time.
he was quite divisive amongst Chelsea fans maybe 6 months ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, this was just like Kante. No, not Kante. This was Mount stands versus Jorginho stands, and I thought it was like Jorginho fans. Jorginho was hated at Chelsea by a section of the fan base because they hated Sarri and they saw Jorginho in Sarri.
Right,
and now because Lampard's come in and Mount was his guy, all the guys who love Sarri and Jorginho's like, nah, this guy's dead. He's inexperienced.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And then you got like infighting between the fan bases, pathetic and everything.
Yeah.
But Mount's a quality player and he's risen above all of that.
So, which player are you most worried about at Arsenal? And I know you're going to probably say none of them. But,
No.
But in all seriousness, if there's one you...
Genuinely, it's Pepe because of what he did last night. The goals like that can happen. They don't happen very often, which is the problem with Pepe. But just like that, he comes in off the right-hand side on his left foot and bang. Similar thing with Saka. He can do it out of nowhere as well. And watching the game against West Brom, you pretty much played the same way. You tried to overload one side and it was just so much success going down there. I just don't think you're going to do it the same way, so I would probably take Saka out of that discussion and probably go for Pepe.
Fair enough. Lewis, would you pick one out?
If not Saka, which is a great shot, I'm going to be real, probably Martinelli.
Yeah, well,
this
if
guy,
he plays,
this guy genuinely loves playing against us, I'm sure of it. Obviously, there was the goal from last January. He was on fire when he lot smashed us 3-1, nearly scored an overhead kick against us. And I feel that's just the confidence that he has. And, you know, certain players have that confidence when they play certain teams. And I'm low-key feeling Martinelli is going to be that little thorn in the side for us. It's looking like that. And I don't want to speak it into existence, but probably.
So what's left? Predictions?
Predictions, yeah. I'm quite keen to know how you're feeling about the two finals you're going into, though.
Oh, yeah,
I
true.
mean, are you expecting to... I think you'll win one of them, but I couldn't tell you which one.
And do you think you're going to beat City 3 times in a row in the space of a month?
Hey, Ole can. So if he
good
can do it, I don't see any reason why Tuchel can. But if we're being real about the final, I feel like with Leicester, because we play him 3 days afterwards in the Cup, and I always see the same pattern, and it's not just with Chelsea, but it's like, whatever team, whenever there's a pattern of you facing the same team twice, one in the Cup, one in the league, whoever wins the Cup final usually loses the game after. And with that being a big top 3, top 4 battle, I think we'll win the Cup potentially, but will we win the league game? And will that have a big impact on us with top 4?
Yeah.
And then if we don't make top 4, how important is the Champions League final? Because it gets even bigger, even though it is literally the Champions League final. But we've beaten City twice, we've beaten their B team, we've beaten their A team. I know we're going to face a completely different City side in the Champions League final, but at this point, you've got no reason not to be confident.
Just as an Arsenal fan, I want to ask you guys, would you be worried about going into that final without top 4? Because and I say Arsenal fan because the Chelsea Europa League final, I knew that everyone would say, listen, Chelsea have made the Champions League, they don't need it, it's Arsenal. But I looked at it as that the pressure's off Chelsea. That's worse for Arsenal. Do you get that feeling or...?
Completely. I don't think we're going to be in that situation, I must be honest. I think I saw somewhere that we're about 4 or 5 points away from being in.
You're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, if we... to be honest with you, I was going to say, my kind of prediction for the game tomorrow is, before the Man City game, and we hadn't have picked up 3 points, it'd have been a must-win. It'd have been an absolute must-win.
Yeah.
Where now I'm looking at it thinking, if we need 4 points from the last 3 games, if this is one of them, I'm well happy. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we get a draw against Leicester in midweek after that and then beat Villa on the final day. But the big thing for me is I don't want to go into that final day having to go and win a game of football, all the energy, all the effort, then play a Champions League final. Because if Man City got the league wraps up, you can be certain they're just going to stop everything.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. I completely agree with you. Because you beat... It's weird. It's funny how football does this. Maybe it's just after years and years of watching it, your brain makes patterns or recognises things. I don't know why. I feel like we might nick a point just on the basis that the win at the Etihad was massive. You got 2 massive finals coming. He rotates and he likes to mix it up a bit. And also, as great as you guys have been defensively, you've not been scoring for fun, have you, under Tuchel? So I do think there's a sense of, it could be quite a stale 1-1. Kind of maybe we nick a goal, you pull one back, or the other way. I don't know. This hasn't got the kind of... It's not the rivalry of old in this game. So
is that what your guess is?
Build on
it
that.
Is my guess. My guess is.
I also build on that and say I would be a bit worried about the intensity we show in this game too, because like I said, we have the cup final in a few days. I think for a lot of the players, they're going to want to keep themselves fit as well. So I think a stale game, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think we're going to see a game you've got like 5 or 6 goals in or anything. Probably be lucky to see 2.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
I think this match, if there is going to be a match winner for us, I think it's going to be one of the people that would normally see their name on the bench. Someone like an Emerson or someone like a Ziyech or someone.
Right, yeah.
It's really strange like that. I don't see it being one of the big names because
Giroud.
generally something like that. You know, a second string option, although they are good enough to start. Of
I hear
course,
that.
but they want to stake a claim for being in the final.
I hear that.
Fair enough.
Go on,
So
prediction. So I've said 1-1.
I'm going 3-1 Chelsea.
Oh wow, you're really going
Fair
for
enough.
I love your optimism.
That's what I just think. I think will get an early goal, and if you look at that West Brom game, although we managed it well in the last 60 minutes of it, that first half an hour, we could have conceded 1 or 2.
Yeah.
If that's Chelsea, it's a different story. I feel you lot will score 1, we'll be deflated, you'll go on to win it 3-1.
I'll go 2-0 Chelsea, only because like our defence is really hard to break down.
Yeah.
We've conceded 8 goals, but there was a 5-1 game to West Brom.
True.
Absolute fluke. Other than that, I'd say 3 goals under Tuchel. Like, we are ridiculously hard to break down. Defensively, that's our strength. So I don't really see us conceding. It's all about whether we're clinical, and that's the same thing I say about Chelsea every week. If we take our chances, like we would batter teams 5 or 6-0. We never take our chances. We're first in the league for nearly every sort of stat, both defensively and offensively, except for conversion rate. We're on like 30% or something shocking.
Timo
So
Werner.
it all depends. Literally Timo Werner. But it all depends on if we take our chances. So I'll say 2-0 Chelsea.
2-0.
I'll go 1-1. I'm trying to big it up and be a great game of football, but I think it'll be 1-1. I really do.
Fair enough.
So no one's gone for an Arsenal win.
Are you
Look at us
surprised?
two sitting here on a red sofa.
But we know what happened last time. We said,
I'm repping AFTV before I'm repping Arsenal.
There you go.
Like, that's where it's got to.
James was
guys.
in merch last week. Now look at him. He printed the AFTV top. and he's there.
I've asked Robbie to print more shirts because I need something to wear.
But
at
Lewis
work.
is right though. Last time, we didn't. None of us predicted the Arsenal win. I don't think. And
Not in that fashion either.
not
So,
definitely not in that fashion.
Listen, at the risk of being clipped up, I also wouldn't be surprised if we put in a great performance and won, because it doesn't matter. Arteta's fighting for his job. You guys, it doesn't really matter to you much. That's perfect circumstances for Arsenal to flourish. When we beat you 3-1 at the Emirates at Christmas, we were on a terrible run, but no one thought that would be the game we turned it around.
No.
So the pressure was kind of off in a weird way, and we performed like that. So you never know what you're going to get from us.
That's
Apart
exactly
from
that. That's a
not
nice,
above ninth.
That's a nice way to end it. You never know what you're going to get from us. Appreciate Craig and Lewis coming down.
Thanks for
You
having
might as well
us.
tell them in that camera where they can find you guys at.
Yeah, guys, Carefree Lewis G on YouTube, Chelsea Fan TV as well. Check it out. Thanks for jumping on.
Craigo28 Football, Craigo28 Sport on YouTube, Craigo28 on TikTok.
Come on, Chelsea Fan TV in the building. Chelsea Arsenal coming up. Let us know your predictions in the comment section below. Thoughts, all of that. Hit like, share it, subscribe. Love and peace, people. We're out.